And, you know, the horrible fight. I mean, I could count. I think the first episode of last season, I think I was pretty pissed off about that first episode. Couldn't tell you specifically which fights were bad or whatever, but yeah, that was right up there with as bad as it gets.
So going back there, when you're, you know, like I said, kind of a weird episode. Did you know, like, oh, we're going 5, definitely, we're going all 5 here? Or did you kind of make that up as you were going?
Yeah, I know as soon as the fight's over. I mean, I write all these notes and you know, during the fights, and I had written the notes on that fight going into the 3rd round. I could just tell, you know, and that kid from South Africa was a highly touted prospect. You know, you never know. Bad night, you know. We all have them. Sometimes you didn't sleep right, or you just can't get off, or got exhausted because, you know, he took almost the whole 5 minutes on a graze, which I can't comment on that. Believe me, any guy who, being a guy, you know, so you know, you just got to get hit the right way, and anything is possible. But that guy looked off all night, and he probably just had a bad night. Who knows? But that's how it goes. The other kid stepped up, took it on short notice. After fighting heavyweight 2 weeks before that, now he's at 186. He looks like he should be 170. Kid's a dog. Why not give him the opportunity, give him the shot? He came here and did what he's supposed to do.
It would be interesting. I mean, like you said, you think he should make 170. He said, we'll go put. What if you find out that you go to the PI and they're like, nah, man, he's a middleweight. He can't.
Then he fights at 185, yeah. Yeah, then he fights at 185. But listen, I'm pretty good at looking at guys and saying, I mean, did you see the size difference between those two? I mean, that guy was a monster compared to him. And, you know, he won all 3 rounds.
Yeah. Finished with a huge finish, obviously spectacular night. I guess, what did you think of Brinchton's performance?
Yeah, he looked incredible. I mean, he was screaming at me in the back there because I was talking to the other kid saying, we'll bring you back. You got screwed. We'll make this right by you. And he was screaming at me. And, wow. And those guys were banging, too. They were going at it. It was a great fight.
Yeah. You mentioned the early stoppage, like you mentioned. So any hesitation? I mean, I think I was going to ask you, would you bring the other guy back? But you already announced you're going to bring the other guy back. So I guess when you see that happen, knowing we didn't even really get to see the fight play out, is that a tough call either way for you?
The stakes are so high here on Tuesday nights, so high. And to come in with an 8-1 record and then go out off a referee's mistake. And, you know, I don't know what the referee saw or what he thought or whatever, but it was a really bad stoppage. I mean, you know, we have the luxury of replay and everything else. 2 out of the 3 punches he threw after didn't even land. Guy was, you know, when you go down, you're still up on your hands and trying to get up. It was a bad stoppage. So Ramon will get another shot.
Very cool. I did want to ask you about Gene Silva in the second fight. Obviously looked spectacular, but couldn't get the fight finished. And then I almost wondered if kind of the interesting character that he was in there with the barking and the you know, showboating might upset you a little bit, or you might not like the guy because of that.
No, I you know, if there's too much of that stuff, I don't like it. If you're doing too much of that stuff and not fighting, that guy was doing it. It was almost like it reminded me of a guy, you know, he's only 26, but the other kid's only 21. He had a little bit more of that experience and kind of getting in his head, more gamemanship than showing off, because he was doing serious damage. Elbows and kicks and punches, and kept moving forward. Didn't finish the fight, but definitely tried to finish the fight. Throw everything with bad intentions. And, you know, yeah, none of that bothered me. Hand speed was unbelievable.
Yeah, very entertaining. Awesome. Well, I want to ask you a couple outside of tonight as well. We got the big UFC 293, obviously, this weekend. A lot of talk coming this weekend. Israel Adesanya, is he the greatest middleweight of all time? Obviously, Anderson Silva, pretty amazing. Where do you stand on that? And, I mean, does this weekend help, you know, solidify any of that argument?
Yeah, well, one of the things, you know, it's hard to talk about that stuff until a guy's done with his career. The one thing that about Israel, and I say it all the time, he always wants to fight. As soon as the fight's over, you know, a lot of these guys take their time. Some guys fight once a year. This kid, as soon as the fight is over, he's already in the back telling Hunter what he wants next, where he wants to go next, and who he wants to fight next, and he wants to fight in 3 months. listen, he's pushing, you know, he's creating a serious legacy for himself. He's actually starting to, after Strickland, he's almost cleaned out the division.
Yeah. Do you know, obviously we initially thought this would be the Dricus Duplessis fight. Dricus couldn't take the fight. Do you look at him as still the #1 contender, like winner, you know, whoever comes out of this weekend, that Dricus would be next?
You know how much I love when guys turn down fights. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Saturday, and then we'll go from there.
Nice. Last couple, I did want to ask you about Paris. The crowd on TV seemed like it was one of the most insane atmospheres ever. What can you say about that?
It's true. I mean, it was incredible. Whether you were there live or on television, you felt it. You could tell it was electric. And, yeah, who would have thought that France would become such a great, you know, experience to see live. But the energy, the chants during the fights, you know, and they were saying, like, from the first fight of the night, the place was like 95% full the first fight of the night. So, awesome.
Nice.
And the gate, I mean, we had the record. The NBA came in and beat us. Then we came back and beat the NBA. So, good shit.
Very cool. The last one I wanted to ask you about Paris. Manon Fiorot had a big win there over Rose Namajunas. Now the discussion is Manon or Erin Blanchfield kind of the leader as far as #1 contender goes? Still got a title fight to play out in a couple weeks anyway. But who do you see a #1 contender out of those two?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you're right. I mean, both coming off big wins. So we'll see. We'll see how it's a great position for us to be in.
Hi, Dana.
Hi. Gotcha.
Got it. All right. I'm just curious. You know, we were just talking about Fiora. I was wondering if you could talk to me about Rose. What's next for Rose? Do you feel like she should stay at flyweight? She should go back to strawweight? What are your thoughts there?
Rose is going to drive here from Denver and have dinner with me. We're going to get together and have dinner and talk and see what's next and hang out.
Awesome. There was also some news out of Australia that Sean Strickland punched a fan. He says he did it. Are you guys keeping an extra eye on him? Are you worried about him wandering around there?
Do you know where the news came from that he punched a fan?
From him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a beauty. He played it up more than whatever, it was jokingly, and the fan and him are cool, and so. Yeah, but this, I going into this, I knew what this week was going to be like. And yes, we're prepared for it, and yes, we have people around him now, so he won't be punching people in the stomach anymore. For fun or not for fun.
I was wondering if you could comment on Conor getting his black belt yesterday.
Oh shit, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, I didn't know. No.
That's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
I wanted to go back to that second fight with Kevin. You said that you were very impressed by him. Does he go back to the regional scene, win a couple? And
Yeah. He's young. He's 21 years old. You know, he's a kid that, you know, I was talking last week about the kid that was too young. But this kid, if he would have won this fight tonight, I probably would have signed him. But what he needs to do is, and again, it's a whole different ballgame when you get here. Sometimes shit flies out the window. Sometimes you don't feel right. The nerves, the whatever it might be. But he looked very one-dimensional tonight. That one dimension was pretty badass, tough, durable, hard puncher. Got hit with fucking everything tonight and stood in front of him. Threw no leg kicks. I mean, he should have started chopping leg kicks from the first round. Just a lot of things that he could round up his game more. And once you give, this kid's 21. Imagine what he's going to look like when he's 23. He just, you know, he's got to tweak some things. But that's completely normal for a 21-year-old kid.
So do you see him kind of, going back on the regional scene and then coming straight to the UFC or?
Oh, I have no idea. But the reality is this. In all the times that you've ever watched the Contender Series, where have you seen me start with the guy who lost before I talked about the guy who won and the guy that we're actually bringing in? So I truly believe that this kid has a big future in this sport. I don't know his training situation. I don't know what happened with him tonight. Is he one-dimensional? Did he just freeze up tonight? I don't know any of these questions. Only him and his team know that. But my assessment of tonight, That's what I saw.
Main event winner was a plus 500 underdog, beat the guy that was minus 700. There's a lot of underdogs that are winning this season. I mean, like, what's that say?
It says if you're a degenerate gambler, the Contender Series is where you should be on Tuesday nights.
Good point. Good point. And then finally, I just wanted your thoughts on. So Saudi Arabia put $100 million into the PFL, and Saudi's putting a lot of money in golf, soccer, the Fury Tyson. I just wanted your thoughts on Saudi, coming into global sports and putting money into it.
Yeah, they've also, over the last I don't know how many years, dropped billions into their infrastructure there and creating, a place where they want tourists, trying to make it a destination for tourism. And, I mean, Las Vegas is a perfect example. Look at what's happened here since sports teams have landed here, and they're making moves. They got probably more money than anywhere else in the world, and, I get it.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
I want to read you a quote. Quote, UFC is a great company, but PFL is a great company. We do everything they do, and we do some things better. 1, we pay better, and 2, you're in control in the PFL. You're not under somebody's thumb. What you do inside the cage controls your future, end quote. That was from PFL CEO.
What was the end of it? What did it say?
What you do inside the cage controls your future. And
What you do inside the cage can what?
Controls your future.
Got it.
So that was from PFL CEO Don Davis. And so I don't know if you've heard that quote yet today, but I just was wondering what your initial thoughts were.
No. Well, there's one of two things in that. There's either a lot of delusion or he's uninformed. Almost everything in that statement is incorrect, except for what happens in the cage determines your future. I think that's the only right thing that he said. And you know what? Good for him. Get out there. Fucking, let's fire it up. Let's, whatever. It's all good. Listen, I've said this before about the PFL. I have no beef with those guys. Those guys have always been stand-up guys and have always been classy when it comes to the business. These guys are in this to compete with us. And I respect that.
And over here. We're halfway through the Season 7 of the Contender Series. It seems like it's flown by. Are there any moments that have stood out to you thus far? And what do you make of this first half of the season?
What stands out to me so far in
First 5 episodes.
In the first 5? Yeah. I think that, if you look back at the history of the Contender Series and what we've built here, a couple of world champions now, tons of top 15 guys and girls. And when we have the boards in the war room, there's different colors. There's blue everywhere. Blue is Contender Series. So this show has been a monster feeder system for us and bringing in high quality talent. Everybody that comes in off this show has the ability to break into the top 10 or be a world champion. So it's one of the reasons that I love watching this every Tuesday. Tonight, I'm just looking at this page right here. We got Silva and Kevin. You got 10-2 versus 11-0. You know what I mean? These are the kind of guys that are coming in, and somebody's going to win. And now it's Silva who's 11-2, and now he's going to face somebody in the UFC. So it's these guys come right in. When you look at Ribeiro in the last fight, this guy's 26 years old, and he's got 20 fights. He's got 20 fights right now with a 100% finish rate, and he is a monster. This guy comes in and goes for it. He could fight almost anybody right now in the top 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you. And I want to piggyback on the France question. Do you think the France crowd and just that arena, everything, do you think they deserve a pay-per-view now after that event?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And after UFC 293, we have Noche UFC. Just want to get your thoughts on how excited you are to have that first Mexican independence event.
Yeah, obviously that's why we're doing it. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scheduled. I ripped the whole schedule around to make this thing happen. put pressure on the boys to build a card for that event. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And when you look at the question that was asked of me earlier about which girl is next, that whole division is fun based off what happens that night between Grasso and Shevchenko. And there's a lot of different things that we can do based off the winner of that fight. So it's a good position to be in.
And I know last week you were talking about some possible locations and stuff. One of the fighters who won their contract last week said they heard something about Twin Cities. Is that confirmed? You guys are going to go to Twin Cities again?
What was the question?
One of the fighters mentioned that they might be fighting in Twin Cities. Is that confirmed that we're going there? That's what you're asking, correct?
Yeah, correct.
To fight where?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Yeah, no.
Thank you.
That's not correct.
Hey, Dana, just one quick one I want to ask you with the whole PFL Saudi Arabia thing that got brought up. You've always been, not taking shots at the PFL, but if Saudi Arabia decides to empty the bank, right, they've got essentially unlimited financial resources. This is just $100 million, but do you view them as a potential viable competitor if they decide we're going to open up the checkbook and we're going to try to be the UFC?
There's been plenty of people that have opened the checkbook, to be a competitor. It's not about money. There's so many different, as I sit back and being in this for 23 years, and I watch everything that is done wrong, okay? And one of the big things he said in there, which is absolutely false, is that they pay more than the UFC, which is absolutely, positively not true. But I do see them waste unbelievable amounts of money. And you can only waste unbelievable amounts of money for so long, no matter how much money somebody has. It's just, if you go in the dictionary and look up the word business, okay? There's business and then there's charities. I'm involved in both. I run a business and I do lots of things for charity. Most of these other guys are all running charities, not businesses. And like I say, you can only do that for so long before it runs out and it ends. So we will see. I've seen you guys, when you guys ask me these kind of questions, you ask me like this is the first time I've seen things like this, or the first time somebody with money was getting involved. It's about a lot more than money.
Kind of piggybacking off of the PFL talks, there was all these rumors of the PFL talking about purchasing Bellator, that Bellator was possibly up for sale. If they are, in fact, or were, in fact, up for sale, has the UFC expressed any interest in possibly buying out Bellator?
Why on God's green fucking earth would anybody buy Bellator? So when we were just talking about business and making the right moves and making right decisions, there's been lots of bad ones. Bellator would be one of the fucking biggest. Why anybody would buy Bellator is beside him. But, hey, what do I know? Let's sit back and see how this plays out. I'm excited.
Did you see the price point was $500 million for Bellator?
Did I say what?
There was a price point of $500 million for Bellator.
Bellator's $500 million? Awesome. Sounds like a steal. Sounds like a fucking steal. Buy that thing quick before who else does? Come on, you guys. This is fucking silly. Silly.
One follow-up. With the heavyweight division right now, would you say it's probably in the best place it's been in a few years? You got Pavlovich, Aspinall gone, the winner of Curtis Blades and Almeida. Do you think the top of the division's at the best it is?
Yeah, I think right now, again, sitting here on a Tuesday night talking to you guys about this stuff, as you start to look at basically we had matchmaking today, and as you look at all the different divisions, there's a lot of exciting fights right now in all these divisions.
With matchmaking the top of the division.
Well, that's the thing that I was telling you guys last Tuesday, I think. I was sitting there in matchmaking last week and we're working. Actually, it wasn't matchmaking. We were looking at the schedule. We were looking at the schedule last week of where I wanted to go, where I didn't want to go, what fights, this, that, and everything else. And we were like, holy shit. Every year we go, how do we beat this year? And then as you start looking into what's possible next year, it's absolutely fascinating. It's, real life stories as they play out are better than any script you could ever write. And that's what makes the sport so awesome.
With matchmaking, like, the next title fight, or like a contender fight, with Pavlovich or Gane or Aspinall, like, obviously you're waiting to see what happens with Jones and Stipe, but there's this thing that John might retire, or they both might retire. Like, are you just waiting to see what happens with that before you match up a #1 contender fight?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Obviously the Sean O'Malley win is still fresh in everyone's minds, but I want to ask you about Aljamain Sterling, right? What are your thoughts about his run as a champion, just as a champion for the UFC? I mean, he kind of overcame some negative thoughts from other people and just outside noise.
What are my thoughts on? Yeah. As far as what?
And like all the negative criticism he received as a champion.
Negative criticism on him?
And everything he faced.
So here's the thing with Sterling. I'll tell you my personal experience. So when you sit down with Aljamain one-on-one and, you're whatever, he's a great guy. He's a great kid, very likable, everything else. Decisions he makes in public and things that he says in public do not make him the most popular guy on the roster. And it's the weirdest thing. I don't know if it's self-sabotage or what it is. It's just he always seems to say the wrong things, in times when if he said even remotely close to the right things, people would love him. You know what I mean? I always say about the kid, kid's a good-looking kid. He's got a great physique. When you sit down with him one-on-one, he's a good kid. But in public, he can't help himself.
Would you have some advice for him, or?
No. I mean, listen, he's done pretty well without my advice. I mean, look at what the kid's accomplished. He's made a lot of money. And, and you know how I feel about the whole me and Marab are friends, bullshit. But, I don't dislike Aljo. You know what I mean? Like I said, one-on-one, he's a good dude.
Thank you.
Good?
Real quick. Weeks ago, there was traction on it. I don't think I've heard anything since. I was curious if you had any updates on Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and anything like that.
No updates. Thanks.
Congratulations. Kind of a wild night. I guess give us your thoughts on securing a UFC contract.
I feel good. I feel blessed. I'm still processing it a little bit. Feels good, man. I've came a long way. If everybody knew my story, they'd be impressed too.
You talked about still processing it. I mean, I don't think we knew until the very end you were actually getting a deal, right? Like, what's going through your head is, all the feedback is coming from Dana.
I know it was a real boring fight. I'm sorry that it was a boring fight, but I promise to bring more exciting fights when I make it to my first fight in the UFC. I cut a lot of weight. I cut 25 pounds since Thursday. I fought at heavyweight on August 26th, but me and my coach got the call, and we were like, hell yeah, we're taking that fight. We ain't turning that down. Who would turn that down? This is what we all train for. This is what we fight for every day. I've been practicing 3 times a day for this every single day for 3 years. I've been a pro for a year and a half, and I fought at 3 different weight classes, 3 different finishes, and I'm always ready. I stay ready.
Was there any point during that process? I know everybody says, yeah, you sign up for it, but as you're going through that weight cut, is there any part like, what the hell did we do? Like, this was a terrible idea.
Oh yeah, it sucked. It sucked a lot. I love my food, and I was actually in Baltimore, and I was visiting my sister, and we got the call in her backyard, and we started cutting instantly. I did eight 5-minute rounds. My coach was like, start getting it off, and I was around 215 at that time.
So when you hear that, he sees you as a 170er, like, I mean, was that ever even a thought in your mind that, yeah, welterweight's probably where I'll end up at some point?
I'm a little unhealthy looking right now. I'm usually, because we cut it the way we did. We was in the bathroom shadow boxing with a sauna suit in the hotel the day after we was up doing medicals till 9:30 at night. But we got it done. My coach did it with me. Shout out to Gary. He cut the weight with me the whole time, and we got it off. It sucked the whole time, but if we needed to make 170, if he really wanted me to, and I got the right stuff to do it, I'll do it. I'll fight at any weight class if I can make it.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, like you said, you're still processing everything, but a UFC debut, you're a guy that likes to fight quite frequently, so, I mean, do you need some time off, actually, or are you like, just book me as quick as possible? What's the plan?
Honestly, if I got the call tonight and they said they wanted me to fight, I would go do that for them. I would make the weight. I would make it happen. I'm still young. I'm still hungry, and I'm ready to go whenever he's ready to make me go.
Dylan right here.
Yeah.
Congrats on the win. Earlier
you.
you said if you knew my story, you have the UFC contract, you have the mic, you have the platform at hand. For those that are listening that don't know your story, what is it?
Well, 3 years ago, they kicked us all out of school. I was going to Notre Dame, and I went back to Baltimore, and I was doing stupid stuff I shouldn't have been doing. And I met a couple of the teammates that I train with now up at Demolition Fight Team in Findlay, Ohio, the most randomest place ever. And I packed my stuff, and for some reason I just went, and I moved into the back of the gym, hoping that this right here would happen. And I trusted my coach. I trusted my teammates. And a year into that, I turned into a pro after almost 18 fights between boxing and MMA. And then now we're 7, how many fights I got now? 9 fights now as a pro in the last year and a half. And now I'm in the UFC.
An incredible journey that is. What is something that stood out to you from then that has helped you now to get to where you are?
The sport has done way much more for me than just allowed me to just get in a cage. It's turned me into a man. It turned me into who I am now. It surrounded me around people that I hope are around for the rest of my life. I have a whole bonus family waiting for me in Findlay, Ohio right now, waiting to celebrate with me. I got my blood sister waiting for me, and I'm so excited to see them and go celebrate with my coach after this.
Well, go ahead and celebrate. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Well, congratulations on an impressive victory and also a UFC contract. So what are your emotions right now?
Thank you. I can't put in words what I feel like right now. Like, I worked so hard for this, and I just proud myself. I can tell you this, and Yeah, but I know it's beginning to like the big, like have more things for coming. So it's just beginning. So
Nice.
I'm happy.
We know you had short notice. I mean, when the opportunity came, was there any discussion of like, no, this isn't enough time, this is too hard of a challenge? What was the reaction?
Absolutely not. When my manager called me, he like, how much you weight right now? I'm like, I will fight. Just tell me when. And she's like, oh, this Tuesday. I'm like, okay. And how much you? I'm like, 141. And he like, you can make this weight? I'm like, yes, I can. It's my business. Just like send me the contract, I will make the weight. And that's it. I'm here. And I made that. We made that, like, I and my team.
No. What was it a challenging weight cut? Like, has this been difficult, or were you confident the whole time? What was this time like?
Yeah, the thing, I just try like keep like calm a whole like the process, like short like process, like 4 days, but just like patient and like try enjoy the moment, like grace, like 4 days, like my flights get canceled. I need like drove here, and all the time I'm like, it's okay, Johnny, we'll be fine. Just like enjoy step by step. Don't like don't freak out. That's okay. And it's hard, but like I love fight, so I can do like what I need to do for fights. I will.
Nice. A dominant performance tonight, I thought, but I wondered if maybe you were surprised at how tough she was, because you had her in some really bad positions and she just refused to tap. So did she impress you with how tough she was tonight?
Now I know she's tough opponent, and I wait for this. Like every single time I come for fight, and this like the opportunity, like it's a tough fight, and I think about like never like finish the first round. I think about like one good fight, like 3 rounds, 50 minutes, like big fight. So I don't like, I think I expect for this. Like she's tough, and I'm like, expect she like don't tap, like fight, fight, fight. It's a big thing, right? It's one big opportunity. Who will tap? Like if like is no in, I'm like, no, I will stay here. Like I will sleep. If somebody like choke me, I'm like, no tap. No, no.
Awesome. Last thing for me, I'm sure you'll want to enjoy this a little bit, but any plans for the UFC debut, or do you hope to do it before the end of this year, or need some time off? What do you think?
I don't need time off. I waiting for fight anytime. So need me, just call me, short notice. I don't care. I'm here.
I've just got one for you. Chris Cyborg was here in the audience. I know she means a lot to you. Can you kind of explain to us what she means to you, just in your career and your life?
Oh my gosh, she's inspiration for me. Crazy is like my family here. When I come to USA, I'm staying her house, live there. She helped me like a lot, like emotional support, like finance. Like she helped me a lot. I have like nothing when come here, and she like train a lot with me too. So she's inspiration for me. She's like me. She's like my family. So it's so important for me. She come like Gabi, her daughter too here, and I feel like fight in my home. So I can tell like I feel like so like good and fight here because I look for inside Grace, my teammates like in my corner, and like just few people that look like I'm like, oh, I'm the gym like doing like sparring day. That's cool. So yeah. Thank you.
And congratulations on the win.
you.
When you look at the flyweight roster in the UFC, is there someone you'd like to face in your first fight, or just sometime throughout your UFC career that you think would be a fun fight for you?
You know why I don't think about, because for me, I think about like get my contract first. But this one thing now, for sure, I'm back from my house and start like, okay, this fight is good for me. Now I'm like, now I'm a UFC fighter. So now I will start like think about like people's I want fight. Is good fight for me or no? I'm like, I'm ready for fight. I don't care who. I just want fight. I love fight.
And next week, Alexa Grasso is defending her belt against Valentina Shevchenko in the rematch. Who do you have winning that fight?
I love this match. But I think when you like you have the Valentina level, it's hard you like do the same mistake twice. Makes sense. And so I think like Valentina will do like a good job. It's a fight. I don't think she like do this like easy, but I think Valentina get this like her belt back. It's my opinion. By who I am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dude, I'm home.
Well, congratulations on the victory and getting the contract. Talk about, I guess, the emotions of now that you know that you are in the UFC.
Parabéns pela vitória, pelo contrato. Emoções gerais de ter contrato e estar dentro do UFC.
A gente chegou.
We're here. We are here.
Satisfatório, muito satisfatório. Tem muita coisa ainda para fazer aqui nessa organização. Estou muito feliz de estar aqui, muito feliz de conhecer todos vocês. E o UFC é nosso.
Lot of satisfaction to be able to be in this organization, for us to be together here. It was a pleasure to meet all of you, and the UFC is ours.
Guys, it's good to see you smile based on your intensity earlier in the night. I wasn't sure you could do that. When does the switch flip for you where you're differing from this guy to the guy that goes in the cage?
Muito bom ver você sorrindo. A gente achava que você não era capaz disso pela maneira como você entrou lá para lutar. Quando que esse cara sorridente, Alec, que a gente está vendo, quando é que basicamente a ficha cai e liga o interruptor e dali para frente é aquele cara que a gente viu lá dentro?
Acredito que todos os atletas do mundo vão ouvir isso, então quero só dizer isso antes de responder a pergunta de vocês, é que é muito caro para estar aqui. Cada um tem seu preço, não importa. Acha ele e pague. E aí você vai chegar. E sobre cair a ficha, eu já sabia, cara. Todo o tempo eu sabia que eu ia ser contratado.
E ele só para I'm just complimenting what you said. E essa pessoa sorridente, quando é que ele vira aquele demônio que estava lá dentro?
Vocês têm que conhecer o Flávio Álvaro. Quando vocês conhecerem o Flávio Álvaro, vocês vão entender a hora que o Lorde entra em ação, onde que entra esse cara agressivo. Porque eu realmente aqui sou o cara mais agressivo dessa parada.
Three things. First and foremost, there are people all over the world that could be seeing this, so a lot of athletes in the world could be watching this at one point. So I just want to say it is very costly to be here and to get here. Find your price and pay for it and be here. The second thing is something we use in Brazil because of payphones. So we used to say, like, finally the coin, right, touchdown. So it activated. I knew this was happening. It dawned on me as soon as I had that fight that I was going to get that contract. Third, in order to know why this person that I was turns into this person, the person I am right now turns into that person, you need to know Flavio Alvaro. Once you see him, you see exactly how this person becomes the Lord that you saw tonight. We're here. We're coming.
Really an incredible performance from you tonight. Really surprised that your opponent could stay in there the whole time. Were you impressed at how durable he was, and was it almost frustrating that you weren't able to put him away?
E foi uma grande vitória, um tremendo desempenho. Deve ter sido complicado para você ver, pelo menos o oponente ele não caía. E chegou a ser frustrante, porque o cara simplesmente não tomou e não caiu.
Como eu disse, bom, não foi frustrante, nem um pouco. Não foi frustrante. Mas como eu disse, Flávio Álvaro é um cara que faz essa chama, essa vontade de ser agressivo e a gente colocar em prática. O que eu estou querendo dizer com isso é que, juntamente com a Fartneds, para que a gente tenha esse resultado, a gente está pronto para machucar qualquer 5 rounds. Então, não foi surpresa ele não cair. Dou parabéns para ele. Se tiver uma nova oportunidade, eu machuco ele de novo.
First and foremost, it wasn't frustrating. Again, going back to Flavio Álvaro and what we do in the gym with fighting nerds, we prepare to hurt for 5 rounds. We prepare to go 5 rounds, and it doesn't matter. More power to him that he was able to sustain the barrage. But if he comes back and does this again, I'm ready to hurt him again.
Nice. Last thing for me, ideal scenario for you for your UFC debut? Would it be this year? Would it be Brazil maybe? Would it be some time off? What's the plan?
Última pergunta minha. Cenário ideal para você na tua estreia? O quanto antes possível? Brasil, de repente, pelo menos uma luta até o final do ano. Qual que é o cenário ideal para você fazer a tua estreia no UFC?
Bom, eu já vinha pensando nisso antes, mas nesse curto intervalo da luta para a entrevista agora, sentei com meus coaches, com a minha equipe Fast Nerds, com o meu empresário Ivan Jatobá, e a gente decidiu. Estamos prontos para bater em qualquer um em São Paulo.
I had thought about this before, but in this time between the fight and here, sat down with my coaches, sat down with Fight Nerds, sat down with my manager, Ivan Jatobá, and we decided, hey, I'm ready to hit anyone in São Paulo.
Parabéns por la victoria. I saw you were having a lot of fun during the fight. You made some noises in the cage. Was that part of your plan, knowing that your opponent is a 21-year-old, less experienced guy? Or maybe when he goes against someone like you, maybe that would get into his head?
Parabéns pela vitória, não precisa nem traduzir. A gente viu você muito solto, falando, gesticulando, provocando ele no sentido assim, de tentar entrar na cabeça. Isso fazia parte da estratégia de pensar, o cara mais novo, o cara eu posso entrar na cabeça dele, eu posso fazer um trabalho aí e deixar ele meio desnorteado?
Obrigado pelas felicitações. Fico muito feliz com isso. E sobre eu falar na luta, realmente a gente planeja até isso. Como eu disse, Fight Nerds. A gente planeja tudo. Ele é um garoto de 21 anos, não estava pronto para, literalmente, para brigar comigo. Mostrei isso para ele. Certeza que ele vai ter a oportunidade dele, mas hoje eu vim para machucar ele. E sobre a sua pergunta, a gente treina isso também, sobre falar no corner. A gente treina até os corners. Então, Fight Nerds.
Thank you for that, first of all, for the congratulations. That's, it's trained at Fight Nerds. This is something that everything is trained. Yes, young guy, 21 years old. I don't think he was ready to brawl with me. He's going to have his opportunity, but he wasn't ready to be there with me. And to answer your question fully, at Fighting Nerds, we train everything. We train the talking. We train what we need to do. We train our corners in what they're going to do. So that's what Fighting Nerds does.
And I saw you mention there you're ready to fight anybody in Sao Paulo. Say the UFC grants your wish, places you on that Sao Paulo card. Is there a specific somebody you'd like to fight in your debut?
Falou que você gostaria de estar pronto para enfrentar qualquer um e bater em qualquer um em São Paulo. Digamos que o UFC vai lá e te dá esse desejo, vamos lutar em São Paulo. Algum nome na cabeça?
Qual que é o nome dele?
What is your name, bro, please?
What's your name?
My name is Hero Guerra.
Quem você acha que eu devo enfrentar em São Paulo?
Who do you think I should face in São Paulo?
What do you want?
Quem você quer?
Bom, eu sou atleta, eu luto qualquer um. Eu vim para bater em quem disse ser melhor que eu. Se aparecer alguém e dizer que é melhor que eu tô aí.
I'm an athlete. I'm ready to fight with anyone. But, if someone shows up and says he's better than me, I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win. Just a quick one for me. First off, thank you for high-level stuff, absolute action. The first round, it seemed like he was able to implement his game plan. Rounds 2 and 3, you took over. What was like the talk in the corner, the adjustments to say, no, I'm coming forward. This is my fight.
Primeiro de tudo, parabéns pela vitória e obrigado também pela mostra, assim, a intensidade, a técnica que você mostrou hoje foi muito bacana. No primeiro round a gente viu que ele conseguiu impor mais o jogo dele, a gente viu que ele estava mais confortável. Depois do segundo para o terceiro round você simplesmente virou a mesa, virou o jogo e impôs o teu ritmo. Você pode falar para a gente o que aconteceu de repente no corner? Teve alguma instrução diferente? O que fez você ser essa pessoa diferente?
Ele não conseguiu se impor no primeiro round. A gente deixou. A gente queria sentir a luta. Ganhar espaço e machucar ele. Fight Nerds, a gente faz isso.
He did not impose anything of his rhythm in the first round. He wasn't dominating. We let him do it. I mean, we wanted to study the fight. We wanted to feel the fight, see what he was able to do. And that's what Fighting Nerds does. We do these things.
Excellent. Congrats on the win. Look forward to see you fight anybody, anytime.
Parabéns pela vitória e mal podemos esperar para você lutar contra qualquer pessoa em qualquer horário.
Well, I guess give us your thoughts about how things played out this evening.
Yeah, man, honestly, I visualized this. I visualized the finish. I had a lot of different ways this was going to happen. It was a step back too, so that was a cool finish. But yeah, I visualized this, man. I knew it was going to happen. This feels like my destiny.
Is it a bit of a weird kind of position overall, though, just the way things played out?
Yeah, 100%, man. But I did my job. I did my job. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. If the ref didn't stop that fight, that guy would have taken more damage. I guarantee you he would have taken more damage. He would have even if he got up, he wouldn't be as confident anymore on the feet because he just got dropped hard. So honestly, it could have played out. It could have gone farther, but I know I was going to get that finish regardless. So it is what it is.
Does it take away any satisfaction at all from you? I mean, ultimately, the accomplishment is done, right? But does it take anything away from you?
Not at all, man. I dropped him, and I did my job. A ref pulled me off. I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
Fantastic. Is there any part of you that wishes you would have gotten to show anything more than that? I mean, I think people might walk away and say, I didn't really get to see much.
Yeah, you know what? But guess what? I'm in the UFC now, and you guys are gonna see a lot more out of me. I promise you. I'm a finisher. I finish most of my fights. This is 8 out of 10 finishes now, so it's only getting started. I have so many more tricks up my sleeve.
I love it. Last thing for me, I'm guessing you're not injured, or maybe you were coming in. I don't know, but what's the idea for a debut? Like, do you need a little time away, or is it like let's get something booked as quickly as possible? What's the thought?
My dream ever since I started this journey was to fight in front of the Canadian crowd. So, you know, if UFC wants to come to Toronto, they want to come to Canada, come on, put me in there. You know, I will have so many fans and so many supporters there, and yeah, that would be a dream come true.
Congratulations on the win, and I saw you just mentioned Canada there. What's it like, man? Another Canadian in the UFC. What's it like seeing this rise in MMA talent coming out from Canada?
It's a crazy feeling, man. We have such a high level team out in Canada there, especially in that GTA area with Aegis MMA, Burlington Training Center, Niagara top team. Such high quality talent, and it's getting that recognition it deserves. Guys like Mike Malott coming up, Jasmine, you know, and now I'm up here, and there's so many more killers that are going to come up, and you guys are going to see them in the next few years, and it's cool that we're all going to come up together, and we're gonna put Canada on the map, because we need that. We need to put Canada on the map.
And I saw there when you won your fight, you told your students at home watching to be inspired, to that anyone can do this. How important is it for you to be role models for these students of yours and just people in general that look up to you?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Before this fight, there's so many people, so many students of mine, so many people reaching out to me and just giving me words of encouragement and just explaining how I helped them and I changed their lives, and it made me so emotional. I realized that all of this is just bigger than me. This is bigger than me, and I'm gonna put on for my city, for my community, for the people I love, and I hope that people get inspired and do big things, even if it's not fighting, even if it's other things in life. I just want them to succeed and be happy.
Awesome. Thank you and congratulations.
Just a quick one for me. Congrats on the win. But, you know, like, I know it wasn't ideal or something planned with the outcome and such, and people will talk about it and the internet, this and that, but do you welcome that added eyes on you to where they say, oh, that's that guy who got this and that night, yada, yada, yada? You just add it to your momentum going forward, regardless, it's still eyes on you, even extra?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Like, at the end of the day, like, I did my job. Like, how I don't know, man. If you're hating on that, then you're a true hater, man, because, like, I did exactly what I was supposed to do, like, I literally got ripped off by the refs, so I can't really say much about that, yeah.
Excellent. Congrats on the win, my man.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Sente-se. Bem, aguinha. Give me the booze, kid. There you go.
Buddy. President, congratulations on an impressive victory and, of course, a UFC contract as well. So what are the emotions from you like right now?
Parabéns por uma vitória impressionante também. O contrato, emoções, como é que você está sentindo?
Então, galera, para quem não me conhece, sou Brandson Ribeiro, mais novo atleta do UFC. Eu estou muito feliz, são quase 13 anos trabalhando por essa oportunidade. Bati na porta algumas vezes, mas tudo me levou para esse dia, para hoje. E dia 8 de setembro é meu aniversário e, cara, que presentão. Estou muito feliz e obrigado a todo mundo que me apoiou até aqui. E tô muito feliz, minha família, gratidão por tudo.
Well, people, for those who don't know me, my name is Brenson Ribeiro, as the newest athlete in the UFC. It's a lot of hard work. It's almost 13 years to be here. I've knocked on the door many times, but everything led me to the moment that I was in tonight, so I could be here tonight. My birthday is on September 8th, so think I got an amazing gift to get, and you can wait on it. It's going to be great.
Very nice. Massive underdog tonight, according to the odds makers. I'm curious if you were aware of that at all, and maybe what you thought, that people were maybe counting you out.
Tremendo azarão. Não sei se você sabia disso. Primeiro, fala pra gente também se você sabia disso antes de lutar. E o que você pensa do fato, agora, ao saber disso, se não sabia? Que as pessoas talvez não estavam contando não contavam com a sua astúcia?
Então, eu não estava sabendo que eu era azarão. Eu soube isso depois da luta. Mas eu não me importo, continue duvidando de mim. Onde eu tenho que provar é lá dentro. Então, quando aquele octógono fechar e o meu adversário estiver lá, ele está preso comigo. Só quem pode separar a gente é o árbitro. E podem duvidar, duvidem de mim, não tem problema nenhum. Lá dentro eu mostro quem eu sou de verdade.
I did not know beforehand. I found out later after the fight. But you know what? Keep doubting me. Keep doubting me. Where I settle my things up there, that's where I need to prove myself inside that octagon. When those doors close, he's stuck with me. And the only person that can stop that fight is the ref. So just keep doubting me, and I'll just keep showing.
Nice. One of the most devastating highlights of the whole season so far tonight. I guess, how satisfied are you with your performance and the finish tonight?
E foi daqueles melhores momentos, flashes devastadores da temporada até o momento. Foi tremendo nocaute. Quão satisfeito você está com ter feito aquilo?
Estou muito satisfeito, muito feliz. Eu e minha equipe, a gente trabalha muito para isso. Não é só eu, tem um time por trás de mim. E o meu time, a Evolução Thai, é o time mais sinistro do mundo. E meus parceiros de treino, meu mestre, Wagner Caldeirão ali, meu empresário, falou que hoje ia ser o show do Moreno. E foi o que aconteceu.
Very satisfied, obviously, with the win. It's what we work for. We work so hard to actually make this happen. My team, and Wagner said today, one of my coaches said, we train a lot for this to happen. And actually, one of my managers said, tonight's going to be, and I mean, to translate Moreno, in a sense that, that's the dark, tall, and handsome dude's show. There you go.
Last thing for me, it sounds like maybe a couple days off to celebrate the birthday, but what do you see as the ideal scenario for your UFC debut? Do you want to try to do it this year, Brazil? What makes sense?
Última pergunta minha, obviamente que você vai tirar uns dias livre para aproveitar o aniversário, mas depois disso, qual que é o próximo, próximo desafio? Quando é que você quer começar a tua carreira no UFC? Talvez o Brasil, o mais cedo possível, até dezembro. Quando é que você quer começar?
Como eu falei ali, eu quero trabalhar. Sou funcionário do UFC, então vou me manter pronto. Quando o UFC me chamar, eu vou estar pronto. É isso, eu quero trabalhar.
Like I said, I want to work. I'm an employee of the UFC, and I'm going to just be ready and ready to go. That's it. Whatever they put me, I'm ready. I want to work.
Parabéns. Obviously, after today's performance, you raised some eyebrows watching at home and just other fighters in your division. What is the message you have for the rest of your division and the people that are going to tune in and watch your fights?
Parabéns. Obviamente, hoje o pessoal ficou de olho aí, vendo novo talento na divisão. Que mensagem que você quer mandar para a categoria, vendo uma luta como essa e um cara que está entrando como você?
Então, a minha categoria tem que ficar ligada aí, que eu vou dar trabalho. Eu cheguei para movimentar a categoria e, meu irmão, estou pronto para lutar com qualquer um. Com qualquer um, meu irmão. Eu sou o mais perigoso do game, sejam tão ligados. Quanto eu batalhei para estar aqui. E é isso, eu quero trabalhar, meu irmão. Vamos trabalhar.
Yeah, the division needs to be on alert now. I'm here. I've told people, like, I am the most dangerous guy, the most aggressive guy in the game. I'm ready to work. I've arrived, and as I said, I'm ready to work and ready to fight.
Awesome. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hey, hey.